Okay, in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how we end up handling requests to the backend server. And the way we do that is when we have created our Express app, right? Just type in app dot and then the name of the method that is being used. For example, if I was sending a post request, I would type in post. If it was a delete request, I would type in delete. And if it's a put, you just put in put. If it's a get request, you just put in get. Okay, but after you have gotten that request, right, let's say it's a post request, how do you end up handling that request? So there are two arguments that this accepts. Okay, and one is which URL this is going to, right? Like, is it the main URL? Is it an API URL? Or let's say it's a product, right? If you have an e-commerce website. So whatever URL you want the request to get the data from or process something, you end up putting that here. So let's say this is an API request for something, right? Then you can put in whatever in front, right? Like product or whatever, but I'm going to stick with this for now. So a request is made to this URL, but how do we get the data and also process that and then send that response back to the front end, right? You end up putting a function. Now you can use a normal function, but I'm going to use a arrow function. We don't want to do anything complicated here, so I'm using an arrow function. So you put a function here, and then in this accepts two arguments. One is request and the other one is response, and you just write the short version of that. Okay, and this one, the request, what this does is it tells us what is the request. For example, if I do console log request, you will see what we get after we send something to the backend, right? And you will see we get a lot of information. Okay, this is the route, this is the hosting, this is the headers. Okay, this is the headers, and a lot of other information. It will take a long time to explain, but long story short, request ends up giving us all of the information from the front end when a API request is made. But the most useful of this ends up being the dot body and the dot headers. Okay, these two are the ones that you most of the time will use. So I'm going to stick with body dot body, and I'm going to show you that if we end up sending something, right, and I'm gonna put in title, and I'm gonna put in hi, how are you, and I'm gonna send this request. Actually, before we do this, we need to use app.use express.json. Now, as you can see, it's working. What this does is basically turns the request that you get into a JSON response, and then it's putting it into this. So the title that I just submitted, this JSON data, it's shown to you right here, because in the request, this is the information you get from the front end. Using the response, you can send data from the backend to the front end. So if I want to send a response, right, let's send a response back. There are two ways to do this. One is the send, if you just want to send something simple. One is the JSON, if you want to send some JSON data back to the front end. Okay, but I'm just going to use this one, and when we make full stack projects, this will become more clear. But before we do that, we need to reach 1K subscribers, so subscribe to the channel. So in this, I'm just going to send a string response, which is going to be I am good. Okay, let's just send that. Let's save this, and now you will see that we are getting our response, which is I am good. So this is how you receive data on the backend and you send data to the front end using request and response. and you can do some data fetching or some other processing that you need to do before you send the data to the front end, like getting data from a database or something like that, and then send a response accordingly. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.